What's up, fuckers? Your boy's back, goddammit, with a little video series that I'm calling Sibling Rivalries. But first, I wanted to share with you guys real quick my end results on my Hinderer Eclipse. I did go ahead and install that Battle Bronze Showside scale, as well as the rough washed, or rather working finish hardware with the pivot and barrel spacers. I think she looks beautiful. This one is my first and only Hinderer in the collection, and I don't see myself getting rid of her anytime soon. So let me know what y'all think. I think it's gorgeous. Okay, for these next two videos, I found a total of about 10 sets of knives that I'm referring to as Sibling Rivalries. These are knives that basically are siblings to each other in one way or another. And I just happen to have both or all iterations of that knife. So I wanted to just share them with you guys. Maybe I'll even let you know which one is my favorite out of those siblings. But first, if you enjoy this content, I'd ask that you would share, like, comment, most importantly, subscribe. It does help that algorithm, helps me with the channel, and helps your boy to go viral. Okay, fuckers. Coming out the gate, we're going to start off with the Baby Banter from Civivi. Love this goddamn knife. Nitro V blade steel, green micarta scales, titanium thumb studs. Civivi banged it out the park with this one. That finger choil does allow for that full purchase, no refund. This knife is capable of so much despite its small size. But there's a sibling rivalry, and that is with the Big Banter. This is from WE, which is the higher end of Civivi. Civivi, WE, and Sencut are all one and the same, essentially. One company with 3 different departments, I would guess. This one is in 20 CV blade steel, but you can see they both have the same blade shape. Both are incorporating that finger choil. On the Big Banter, they did add that sharpening choil, versus here on the Baby Banter, they just have your edge termination, and then the tang of the blade right there. I think they did good with that. I would have been fine with that, something along those lines here on the Big Banter, but that's what they decided to do. It does look a little odd, but it does serve a purpose, so I'm okay with it. That's our sibling rivalry for this coupling right here. Now, which one do I prefer? I'm going with the Baby Banter. This has had the most pocket time out of both of them, and it's just so EDC friendly. You can throw it in that 5th pocket anytime and get quite a bit done with it. This Big Banter would be more for, I guess, just a bigger job, essentially. Some type of material that would be a little bit thicker to cut through, I guess. But nonetheless, the Baby Banter for me on this one. Oh, sorry about that. Next up, staying with that Civivi vibe, is the Civivi Conspirator. This knife was rather popular when it first dropped. It was, there are a couple of different versions of this particular one. I just happened to get the Damascus finish. This was my first knife purchase, that actually costed any type of money. I remember this one was about $95. And at that time in my life, I was like, what in the hell? This was a big decision for me, man. Quickly how shit changes. It's crazy how quick shit can change, but love that knife. That's the Conspirator. The sibling rivalry on this one is going to be from Sencut, which is basically the same company, and that is the Sashis. Basically, just a more budget version of the Conspirator, in my opinion. Not only that, they went ahead and they just added some thumb studs on there for another form of deployment, versus the Conspirator has that fuller. Both of them have the micarta. Between these two, I'm actually digging this Sencut micarta for some reason a little bit better. It just seems to have a little bit more texture in it. This Conspirator micarta just seems to be a little bit more slick. But as far as the the materials in action, I mean, they are identical. Really, they are. This Sun Cut is using 9CR 18MOV for their steel. I think out of these two, it may surprise some people, but I'm going to go with the Sun Cut Sashis, even though it hasn't gotten nowhere near the amount of pocket time that I did with my Conspirator. I think if I had to do this all over again and had both of these knives to choose from, I think I would have gone with the Sun Cut Sashis. So we're going to go with the Sashis over the Conspirator. Okay, next up is going to be a recent unboxing, and that is going to be the Cold Steel Tough Light. Just got these last night. They have not gotten any pocket time. That is the original Tough Light, and then I had also purchased the mini Tough Light. Really can't give you guys no honest feedback than that because, like I said, I haven't had no pocket time. But I can tell that I will most likely be using this original Tough Light more. I can see it getting a lot more pocket time just because I think this little one here, number one, it's just a little too little for what I'm looking for. But I just think that this full-size Tough Light is perfect, ergonomically speaking. And just as far as tasks go, they both have a gorgeous little hollow grind on their blades. So they both will do some good slicing, good cutting. But I think that I'll most likely be using this full-size one. And I have no problem doing it one-handed on that one. This one, maybe because it's a little bit smaller, I do have to use the two hands to do the disengaging. So I'm going with the full-size Tough Light and this Sibling Rivalry. Okay, I got... yeah, I think what I have next is going to be the last one for this video, and then I'm going to do some honorable mentions. My next knife on this list for Sibling Rivalries is going to be coming from the Towser K family. This is the Towser K original. We're looking at, oh, you see that? Multi-row bearings, that shit just drops and comes home. Deployed via thumb studs, blue rich light scales, 154 cm blade steel, modified sheep's foot style blade. I love this goddamn knife. It is a great, great knife. So much so that Kizer has tried to release several iterations of it. The next one they released, which I really wanted to love, man, but it's got a lot of issues, and that is the Towser K Mini Button Lock. This one was a White Mountain Knives exclusive. They released it in 3V blade steel. We have the doo-doo brown rich light scales, and it is a button lock. They removed the thumb studs and went with a hole cutout, which is okay by me. But this knife has just had so many issues. You can see on deployment, if I give it any type of force, it just doesn't lock up. If I go easy, it'll lock up, but the slightest bang on that, on the tip, I'm not even hitting the housing, just the tip, it disengages. And not only that, I've already went ahead and replaced the plunger and the spring, which was provided to me from Kizer. They are now sending me another set of plunger and spring to try to get this rectified. I just think on the tang of that blade, that hole cut out where that plunger goes, I think that the geometry is off on that. I don't think the springs are going to make a difference, but I'm going to give it a shot. This pairing has a third knife to add to it, and that is the Towser S. Ergonomically, I think this one takes the cake. It is smaller than the other two, but this one implements that finger choil up there, which does allow for that full purchase, no refund. Blade shape it's still in the sheep's foot family, but you can see that they rounded on the edge there. They sloped it off going towards that point. These other two, they kind of have more of a gradual, I guess we'll call it slope, so to speak, or a gradual decline to that point. This one here, man, once again, riding on multi-row bearings. They went back to the thumb studs for your deployment. I love it. I fucking love it. As a matter of fact, if you've never tried the F5, or if the F5 is out of your price range, I think this is a clone for the F5 only being that you have thumb studs instead of a hole deployment. I'll do another video on that. But out of these three, I'm going to go with the Towser S, closely followed by the original Towser K. So this Towser S wins that sibling rivalry. Lastly, I have an honorable mention. Let's see. This is going to be Spyderco Sage 5, baby. This was my first Spyderco. Actually, I don't think it was my first one, but it was one of my first purchases from Spyderco, and I fell in love with it. Perfect EDC, S30V blade steel, satin finish. They have the carbon fiber laminate scales on this, implementing Spyderco's compression lock. What the hell's going on? There we go. Deployed via the trademark Spyderco hole, full flat grind. Now you may be surprised by what I consider its sibling, and that is going to be the Native 5. Goddammit. This is a lockback rendition versus your compression lock, but it's just as fidgety. This is truly ambidextrous. Some people may argue that the compression lock isn't left-hand friendly, but I believe these two have almost identical blade shapes, and I consider these two siblings. I'm gonna kind of tap out on this one because I love them both the same, so therefore I'm not picking a favorite. But if you bent my arm and made me pick one, I think I would go towards that Native 5. Well, that's about it for this first video. There will be a part B to this, and I'll do the same thing with another 5 sets. So go ahead and look for that to follow here shortly. Love you, mean it. Until the next time, cut something, cut someone, just don't cut yourself. Stay dangerous, fuckers.